Yeah, you know what I'm thinking about doing here, honestly? I've been watching a video on YouTube about Privet and the young lads that went there and trying to make a place that's been abandoned for many years after Chernobyl nuclear accident. Place with really high radiation, high rampons. That's pretty dangerous radiation there. So what I'm thinking too is way this what it means coronavirus or dying of radiation poisoning, you know, what's worse? COVID-19 variant worse and honestly, I've been thinking more about going to the Soviet Union, going to the Chernobyl hot zone, going to Privy and just fucking selling there. That's just what I'm thinking about doing, but but still, we gotta dodge Russian security forces and stuff like that, and they dodging them. We gotta dodge Russian security forces because there are security in there that will. If you even get caught by them, they find out Canadian, they will send me on, put me plane back to Canada, or throw me in Russian jail. So that's out of my question or my league. But what worse? Dying of 5,000, getting exposed to 5,000, 5 million rampons radiation and die a nice death. That's one way of putting it. Or die on a ventilator here. I comparing COVID-19 to Chernobyl. It's just as bad as what happened in Chernobyl. It's like being in a jail. What worse? Be locked up in a penitentiary, be locked up in jail for a crime you didn't do, or going someplace where you can do something, make something better, have a future. But that seemed to be where I'm looking at things. Because they're saying in Ontario, I got no future here. Doug Ford at the helm, there's no future. Right now, I'm praying to God that he gets the variant, get killed. You know what? I'm hoping God he get his. I hope God that he get the COVID-19 and die from it. That's the only dispute. That's what I'm looking for him to get. Hope he gets the variant and it works very quick on. He croaks, and he go. And I hope he ends up. I hope he dies. He croaks. He dies, and they cannot do the job of premier. He ends up in a government quarantine facility. But another thing that really annoys me too, when the people returning Canadians, coming back to Canada from being overseas or being somewhere, are told they have to quarantine for 3 days at a government-approved hotel, $44,000. And you know what? A lot of people in this department don't have that kind of money to afford it. To afford to quarantine at a hotel or even quarantine there, yeah? They don't have the money to afford a quarantine at a hotel. So what that tells me, because they don't have the funds to quarantine, that means two things. That they'd be forced to break the law to come up with the money to do it. And a ridiculously high number makes it, and people some Canadians I learned, they've been not even going to Canadian destinations. They're flying things like JetBlue and that to Buffalo Airport, and then they get off, or JetBlue or Frontier to Buffalo Airport, and they get off there at Buffalo Airport, and then they rent a car, and they drive a car from the U.S. to Canada. Like, I know a few people, there's 5, 6, 8 Canadians actually done that, to go to Buffalo. Get off the plane at Buffalo, rent a vehicle, drive across the Blue Water, across one of the bridges into Canada, and then drive right back home to Hamilton, and they just do get a coronavirus test done in the States before leaving Canada with it. Then they show it to Border Patrol, basically. There have been people doing that. And there have been people and they're doing a 14-day quarantine home, even though it tested negative on it here in the States. So basically, there have been people doing that too. A lot. Matter of fact, I heard that a budget rental car in Buffalo, New York had actually said they've been getting a lot of Canadians coming to that airport, renting vehicles and driving across the border. And then they wait 14 days later, they return them to their budget here in Hamilton too. So there've been a lot of rental cars that have been showing up here. One day I going by the budget lot here in Hamilton. I looked over and there were cars and rental cars there. They had a lot of them didn't have a lot of, I see about 10, 15 rental cars in a lot with American license plates on it, with U.S. with New York State license plates for New York State on it. Oh, there. I know what else I noticed too. With that, the license plate for New York State on the cars, so they so what I realized with this, that they sort of had, one way. They do. Know what I'm talking about? License plates, New York State plates on them. And then I was saying that, and all seem to come maybe 14 days. They're coming into budget lot with New York State license plates on. And it turned out Canadians are renting a budget in USA, returning them to budget in Hamilton, budget lot in Toronto, after the 14-day quarantine now. So apparently, what they've been doing is that because they can't afford $14,000 for a hotel, and a few of them I heard have a couple of them. One person couldn't afford it. He stole a credit card from somebody at a Pearson Airport and used that credit card to get out. Took $14,000 freaking thing, and that person got caught and was arrested for using a stolen credit card. The people can't afford the money; they have been stuck in a situation where they have to, go to the bank and take a bank loan out just to get it, or they've been going there and I don't have $14,000, so I can't pay the bill. Been forced into it, and there's been a lot of delinquent hotel bills in Toronto over that too. Anyway, so enough is enough. Blog over.